Good stuff, mate. I suppose the only real place we can start is that 200 free swim at trials. I mean, above all else, that was one of the most, well, arguably one of the most anticipated races in British swimming history. I mean, the field is literally the definition of stacked. You've got yourself, you've got James Guy, full world champion, Matt Richards, European junior champion, the Litchfields, Duncan Scott, ain't exactly bad. How, when there's so much on the line, you've got the first Olympics, your potential first ever Olympic place. How do you mentally prepare yourself to deal with such an occasion?
Yeah, I mean, it was a really stacked event, and British women love to hype that one up as kind of the blue ribbon event of the whole trials. They've been talking about it for the whole week. At the end of every session, the commentators were saying, "Yeah, that was a great session, but I'm still looking forward to that 200 free final event of the whole schedule." So yeah, there was a lot of kind of weight behind it, and at that point, I hadn't actually qualified for any events. My 400 was okay, but it wasn't anything amazing. My 100 was okay, but once again, nothing spectacular. But I knew the 200 was my speciality. That was where my stroke kind of came into its own. But yeah, like you said, it was just such a stacked event. I mean, the guys going into it, like I always knew it was going to be quick, but I never thought it'd be that quick. I mean, 147 just to make it into the final is insane. 5 guys going 146 in the morning. It is world class. It really is. And I think that kind of spoke for itself a little bit. And I knew it was going to be a fast final. So yeah, a really stacked event. Like I said, everyone wants a slice of that 4x2 action. They have done for a while, ever since it became kind of one of Britain's leading events back in 2015 when they won it. So yeah, it was there was a lot riding on it, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely, mate. And I think you certainly stepped up to the plate, dropping over a second from your PB, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that was your swim was the. I mean, you're now in the top 10 all-time 200 free swimmers, mate. Which you're half a second off Thorpe. You know what I mean? That's the sort of caliber of athletes you're within with. But where abouts in that race did you shave most of your time off? Do you think? Is there a certain section in that in the 200 where you really think you've improved from say a couple of months ago?
I think my start's really moved on a lot. I'm popping up equal, if not ahead of most of the boys in that field. And I knew things with the 200 free at the moment, you can't afford to be kind of slow off the start and a bit cautious and hold back and try and be tactical. The way the event's going, you've just got to hit it from the get-go. And that's what I tried to do. I mean, I was out in 23.9, which was way quicker than I was hoping. Turned in a 50-point mid, I think, off the top of my head. So yeah, the start of my race was just so much quicker than I've ever been before. And it was just kind of hold on and kind of see where the rest of the ride takes me a bit. I knew Duncan was going to have a quick middle 100, especially that third 50. It was like hit that 100 mark and just go, basically, and try and hold on. And Duncan was through 150 and a 116, which is just, I mean, that's like 143 territory, which is just unreal. I mean, absolutely unreal. So I knew something special was going to be going on when I turned at 150 with Duncan, and we were kind of half a body length, if not more, on most of the field, because I knew these boys were 146 swimmers in their own right, if not quicker. So yeah, it was always going to be a pretty special swim. Like you said, big old chunk off my PB, 1.5 seconds, skip straight past that 145 down to the 144 mids. And yeah, I mean, seeing your name up with the likes of Phelps, Biederman, Thorpe, I mean, these just like legends in the 200 freestyle and in the sport swimming is quite special.
Yeah, I mean, you're in swimming royalty now, mate. I mean, going into time, it's a couple months before Tokyo, so you got a big chunk of hard work to come on, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
But just back to the race, I suppose. In that last 50, when you're coming down, you must have known that you're on for something special. Maybe not as quick as you went, but certainly a 145 at that point. Yeah, when you're coming down that last 50, you know that you're pretty much, you're 15 seconds away from an Olympic place. What's going? And obviously, I'm assuming that the lungs were bursting a little bit. What's going through your mind at that point?
Yeah, it's always interesting down that last 50. And so I breathed to the right. I had Jimmy on my right down that last 50. And I could see I had, at least a body length on him. I had a big old chunk ahead of him. And I'm thinking, Jim's on for a 146 low, 145 high. This is going to be pretty special. I saw Duncan, he had a bit on me, but all of a sudden I'm closing on him with 25 to go, 15 to go. He came back probably not as quick as he wanted to come back. I think he hurt himself a bit on that second 50. So I'm thinking, I can see the wall now. Get your head down. Don't mess up the finish. Try and finish on a long stroke. 10 meters to go, 5 meters to go. I'm like, I'm pretty much neck and neck with Duncan. I knew it was going to come down to the touch. I think I finished something like 11/100ths after him, so it was really, really tight. But yeah, just knowing that the race kind of came together, and I didn't come back on my arse like would have happened if the taper hadn't been right or the training hadn't been right or anything like that. And yeah, touching the wall, seeing the time, knowing that the work kind of came together. I booked my spot on the team, got my name out there in World Swimming, and look forward to a week off at that point. That was what was going through my head when I touched the wall.
Yeah, I bet you were looking forward to a nice bit of maybe junk food or something. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what your vice is, mate. But yeah, and I suppose.